You've just turned off the body sensor, but the neck pickup is still on, so you'll still get output, but this will be turned off. If this is bad, and because if you think about it, everything here is run in series, so if that goes out, the whole thing goes out. And if you turn that off, you cut that off, and if the electronics work, it's like, oh, okay, that's bad. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So that's a pretty another quick thing just to look at before you start really diving into anything is just flip the switch if it has one. These AA systems didn't have one, so you gotta actually check it with a multimeter. That's this one actually. So what you can do then is if you're working on an older system, one of these, just to test out the stuff, pull the preamp out, and if you look on these Molex connectors, see how there's little spaces on there right there. You can just test those with a multimeter. If they're not giving signal, then it's like, okay, just change that out, you're good. Okay? You guys have any questions yet?
You get a lot of blown fuses in the shop?
Yeah. In the event that you plug your guitar into something that's not grounded properly, you're out at a gig or some club or your friend's house and they didn't wire their system correctly, there's no ground. Rather than you ground yourself to the guitar by hitting the strings and then touch a microphone and get that, what they call that white flash, get that shock. Instead of that happening, it's going to save your ass, it's going to just blow the fuse. And then, you're not going to be in trouble of getting shocked or anything then, it's just now that you're just susceptible to grounding things. You'll still get output, the electronics will work, it'll just be noisy, yeah. You'll hear a hum. So that's all that is. It's just you plugged into something that wasn't grounded correctly. That's easy. As far as replacing that, it's just unclips, and then you just clip it right back in. This one's kind of. If you have no output whatsoever, first thing you want to do is, do you guys all work service guitars, or do you have a technician in the store? Yeah, okay. So it's pretty easy. Yeah. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is get a multimeter. And what I showed you before is just unplug these connections from the preamp. And each thing is going to have, let's see on this right here, how I showed you on, you unplug it. Just use your multimeter and test each one of these. On the back there with the multimeter. And if anything is giving you an open line, then it's going to cut out the whole electronic system. Alright? So if you have, just to recap here, if you got a little bit of a frequency buzz, check for something stuck to the body sensor. If you get that, what you were talking about, that mid-rangey, harmonic, just tinny sound, make sure, again, the sensors haven't leaked, anything like that. And if you're not getting any output whatsoever, then just use a multimeter and test the connections on your Molex connector. Yeah. That's pretty much how it works.
So if those are bad, you just send us this whole thing here, this wire with the sensor?
Yes. Yeah, just give me a call. I'll send you whatever you need. Yeah. To take the preamp out, it's pretty basic. All you have to do is you got these 3 knobs here. They just pull right out. This is a custom-made tool that we do at Taylor. Just took a Phillips and cut it off and designed this and soldered it on there, welded it on there.
I don't sell that big.
No, but if you need one, just let me know.
I need one bad.
Okay.
I busted up your fingernails on those things.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you have a preamp issue, just let me know. I can get you one of these. It's not a problem.
The only thing I found that works is like some tiny vice grips, and you can like get this out of it and turn.
Yeah, I've heard some people getting pretty creative with it, using tweezers and credit cards, and so you just take these bushings out here. Are you all familiar with this? Yeah. Okay. So just preaching in the choir here. That's good. Take each one of those out, and the preamp just comes right out. So it's as simple as that. The thing I'm really trying to get at here when I'm telling you all this is just that electronics are probably the easiest thing to fix. I get a lot of calls of people wanting to send a whole guitar back because of a weird sound or the electronics aren't working. when you can easily fix it in less than 20 minutes. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so the AA system has no it's this one here. Just keep that in mind. From 2004 to 2007 we used this one, AA batteries with the Cat5 cable. No switches on it. So then from 2007 to 2010 we changed over to the 9-volt system with 2 body sensors. So this one. So 2 switches. And then in 2010 we went over to the 9-volt with the single body sensor, just 1 switch, and now we have the ES2. Alright, so
The ES2 has a phase switch.
yes, yeah. And the cool thing about, you know, just to talk a little bit about how simple this one is, this is the new thing that Dave Hollister's been working on. I'm sure he's been talking about it quite a bit, right? We just went over there and showed you. So, I mean, I don't know, has he actually demonstrated changing one out at all?
Yeah.
Between a neck pickup and what we call a hum coil. I get a lot of people who think this isn't actually a pickup here. It's just a hum canceling. It's like a humbucker. It's just gonna produce. So if you ever need one of those, just don't call it a pickup. A hum coil or dummy coil or something like that. Same process. If one of these things fails, again, it's just going to cause all the electronics to short out. And it's the same process if you're really careful on these things. They're really sensitive. You can see, I don't know if I have these things here. A lot of times what I see is because we, you know, for the longest time, up until about 2010, we were installing these right here in that section. And what we would find is that people would need to reset a neck. You're reaching inside there with your wrench, and if this thing is sitting right there, the copper wiring, you see how this one is even broken? Just that one break right there is going to kill this whole piece. And once that's killed, the whole system's going to fail. So these are really sensitive. You got to be careful with these things. If you ever are doing a neck reset on a guitar, your technicians or somebody, or you're testing them out, just be aware of your hands, how they're inside the guitar. See, a lot of people, I mean, you'll start with just needing to test out something, and then it's like, you'll find that, and you're putting things back together, and this breaks the process of putting everything back together. And so that just extends the process where we set you apart, you put it back in, and in the process of putting it back in, it just broke. So then you gotta wait another week for us to, or, you know, 3-4 days. Right there, little piece of foam, little double-sided tape. Just pull it off, put the new one back in, you're back in business. The only thing I'll mention on that is, it's not really important because before we used to have them right here. Now we kind of put them off to the side, so placement isn't really important. We can put them off to the side now because of what I was talking about, getting in there with the wrench and damaging it. So, all right. Another thing that can cause some frequency buzz, pretty similar to what I was saying about the strings getting stuck on the magnet there, is if somebody worked on it in the past, you end up with, you know, a string hitting the top like that. Just that string touching the top right there can cause a resonant frequency buzz because it's so close to that sensor. So just make sure, you know, if you're getting any kind of that, just double check it. These things are pretty much as basic as it gets, and it's not really too difficult to work on. Another thing is, somebody comes in and the electronics aren't working at all, and you've got something with the 9-volt system. First thing you always want to look at is to plug in a cable and see if this little light comes on. If the light doesn't come on, you're not getting anything from the power. So that's either just a dead battery or something's wrong with this. Keep that in mind. Any questions yet?
Yeah, it's, I always tell people, you know, if you trust drive for some reason, and you don't get the cars, that means
thing is so simple, especially for service. Yeah, so basically what you're doing with this is, don't think of these things as a volume control. While, you know, they will enhance it, there's kind of a max point. So if somebody comes in and they're like, my treble side is quiet, the first thing, don't just go in there and start cranking on this treble side, please. Because if you over tighten it, it's going to break. I've seen a few of them already. If you tighten them too much, they're going to break. So if your treble side is a little quieter than the rest, back off the first, okay, and then try to balance it out that way. So don't think about it as, I mean, it will make it louder because it's getting further away from the saddle. So you guys, have you worked with these at all? Have you played with them?
I have played the guitar, but never worked on it.
Yeah, so I don't know if I have. Basically, what's happening is if I were, you can see it's just a 50,000 screw right there on the top. If you tighten this little square pickup there is going to move like that. So if you think about it, if I got a saddle sitting right here, it's basically pressing closer to the saddle. There's a point where it makes contact with the saddle. So if you think it's just going to get louder by making it push harder against the saddle, it's not going to happen, it's just going to break. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Couldn't really see what he was showing yesterday, but are those the only thing that's holding it in is the pressure of the...
Yeah. Basically, you just loosen the strings. Definitely, let's say that too. If you feel like you need to replace a saddle, don't just take the saddle out, because this is locked against that saddle. If you just rip the saddle out, you're going to rip the pickups off. So before you do anything with the saddle, make sure you turn these to the left, counterclockwise, and just it causes the pickup to go backwards. It's not going to fall out right away. I mean, you'll have to use a little pressure to get it to slide out, but it will if you just back them off, leave the pickup a little bit, just push down on it, and come right off. Okay? Pretty easy to work with, so that's how, you know, I mean, Hostler's already gone through it quite a bit with you guys, so I think you got a pretty good understanding of what's going on here. And that's the only part I want to drive home, because I've already seen it a couple times where people, you'll have one spot, maybe the bass side is just a little quieter than the rest. Think that, oh, I'll just crank it down a little harder, and it'll make it louder. And then the next thing you got is some distortion, some other problems. So. Alright, cool. So there's that. What else can I talk about?
You take the guitar out of it altogether. Try to keep the guitar in the closet.
So, you guys know, does everybody know what it's involved with testing a fuse? It's pretty basic. If you, each one of these, yeah, so you see all these have like a little 10 milliamp fuse. Basically all you have to do, just have the strings tuned up, you know, as soon as the guitar comes in, plug this in right there, get to the other end of it. But just take the other end of the cable and use a multimeter, test against this side, test against one of the unwound strings. And if you're getting signal, then the fuse is still good. If you're not, then the fuse is blown. Okay, so and that's only on the 9-volt system. We didn't have fuses on the AA system. Alright,
The fuse is blown it. It just gets like a buzzing.
and upgrading your electronics. Right now we don't really have anything to offer as far as upgrading to ES2, but we have been upgrading from a AA system to a 9-volt system. And something else we're working on, which is pretty cool, is because the problem with that is that this size of battery box is smaller than that. So in the past, if somebody wanted to upgrade, we would have to get the guitar back here, reroute the tail end, and do some work that way. But over in our engineering department over here, they've actually come up with an item we should be ready to start selling here in the next couple months, maybe even sooner, probably in the next month. But it's basically, it's going to be a AA power supply that's going to be compatible with all the electronics of a 9-volt system. So you'll still be using this, but you'll have the 9-volt preamp, 9-volt body sensor, pickups, and everything else. So that can be something to offer. That's, we want to try and get people to get away from those older electronics since we don't make them anymore. So if you ever get a customer coming in with, if they're warranted or anything like that, maybe even just warranty the upgrade or give a rep deal on upgrading. So think about that too, rather than just giving them a part which might only last them a year or two. Let's push them in the direction of upgrading their electronics altogether. So they can either, the benefit of upgrading to a 9-volt system is that a 9-volt is going to give you, what, 40 hours of plugged in? Or a AA would only give you about 20. So, I mean, they can still, they'll always have the option of moving in the direction of the 9-volt. They don't want to ship the guitar back here to the factory for it. If you talk about this with your techs, is the ball end of the string, when you're installing brand new strings in the guitar, if it's not completely seated against this part here, the ground plate, it's not going to ground the strings.
I mean, I don't recommend
The ball end of the string, this little circle part there, needs to be completely seated against that there in order for it to be active. It's another thing to keep in mind. Alright, so we have a great solution for that. Where is it?
Was gave that artist or person
All you have to do,
more time to hurt the
I don't have my tools here, but basically if you just take these pliers, just snip off the end here, it just comes right off. I don't have my pliers, but it's really easy. It just takes like 2 cuts, and this thing just...
You're talking about taking the whole plastic top off.
Just this very end piece right here. Just cut, if you just make a cut right here, make a cut right there, this thing will just fall off. Just take that piece off.
Now you just have an open top.
I know, yeah, we do it all the time. Like for whatever reason, cheaper batteries seem to be wider.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that, this little W shape here, but the cool thing is if you look on the inside here, you'll still have your positive negative. Because that was kind of a big thing when we were trying to, that was an idea we were trying to experiment with, and we were cutting like half of this thing off, and we were like, well, now we don't know which side is positive. So if you just do just the end piece, still have your positive, negative, and the battery will fit perfectly.
That just gives you that extra space you need to snap it in.
And it allows some flexibility for the bigger batteries. But batteries are different worldwide. We sell worldwide, so it's something we've been dealing with for quite a time. And Rob figured it out. You just like cut, boom.
The ESQs have that same battery compartment.
Yes.
What is the perfect unit?
Yeah. So you can see this is the basically ES2 $100. It doesn't have a fuse on it.